see ahead of a rematch between the MAD Lions and Astralis for the final spot in the Winter Playoffs. Now, we got a big upset on the first series. I'm really looking forward to seeing if it's going to be the same story for this one, because MAD Lions are heavily favored here. Before we dive into the matchup, maybe let's focus on the mid lane, especially Nisqy, my boy, shining so much since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I generally just feel like, you know, statistically speaking, this is a mid laner. Well, obviously he's getting a lot of resources from Elyoya, but he's topping all the charts in terms of gold difference, in terms of CS difference, and in terms of that experience. So yeah, lots of eyes on Nisqy, but obviously as well, didn't have the hottest time against G2. We saw some mistakes as well, but he's definitely the favored mid laner going up against Dajor today.
Yeah, and I feel like what's really nice compared to last split as well with MAD Lions, he's kind of taken up more of a carry role as well. Not just also getting the resources, but specifically getting a lot of these hard carry champions, like even the Nisqy right here. He's running the Cassiopeia. Yeah,
because one of the things that I really liked paying attention to in the beginning was the fact that he's not the mid laner that roams the most any longer. He's one of the mid laner that likes to spend time in lane. He's one of the mid laner that likes to take charge of his own destiny as well, and the carry potential that comes with it.
And that's what he's been talking about in every interview he had. He talked about how he's been receiving positional coach, helping in on the mid lane, but also it was new year, new Nisqy, and it comes with a new playstyle and insane stats as we see here.
Yeah, you can see it once again. Gold difference, damage percentage, kill participation, and of course just the kills in general. Like, this man is styling at the moment, and he's got a team behind him who's setting him up for it.
Yeah, it's kind of insane to be leading first in every single stat.
That's not the only one he's leading, and we just don't have a big enough full screen.
Yeah.
Oh, but we do have a
Oh, there you go. There's also a lower third.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an issue on the mid lane maybe today on the side of Astralis. And we have seen this series last week went 2-1 in favor of MAD with heavy action on the bot lane especially.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure in the beginning for both bot laners here, both from the side of, you know, Astralis, Kobbe, and JeongHoon has been stepping up. Even in the game that they lost yesterday, JeongHoon's Lux was really solid, but also from the side of Carzzy and Hylissang, they had a phenomenal reckless season, and last time the two teams played against each other, they are not afraid to bring out wacky picks. We saw Valée Stretch paired up against the Twitch Casio.
Yeah, and not only is it the wacky picks, but I feel like generally they've kind of stretched their legs, especially yesterday we got to see that, right? Even though, yes, it was a bit of a messy performance from the side of BDS, you still have to credit Astralis and generally the creativity that they came into the game with, specifically towards the end of the series, to actually pick up some wins, and of course, particularly 1-1-3's pretty aggressive pathing with the rest of the team.
I mean, creativity on the side of Astralis, but also massive respect for the calm that they displayed on stage, and the fact that they play without pressure. I mean, we talked about this, right? The pressure is on the MAD Lions today. They're expected to win. On the side of Astralis, I talked to Dajor yesterday, they just play free without pressure, and it's been working so well for them. Yeah,
you were saying we already had one upset today. Astralis' run the entire time through has been upset on upset on upset. And you know, if they want to continue that thread, today is a great day to continue it as well. And I think just going off there as well, he's a guy that's getting a lot of flag, but he's stepping up every single time to find out what can I do to at least let the teammates around me play like a team as well, and I think that's where we need to give him credit as well.
They are one series away from reaching playoffs for the first time of Astralis' organization. Do you think they can do it, Jamada?
Honestly, if we get the MAD Lions that we saw up against G2, maybe, because I feel like MAD Lions overstepping so many times. We saw Astralis punish the BDS side, so I feel like, to me, Astralis could very much actually step on a MAD Lions that are kind of taking too much of a bite out of their meal every time they look for a play.
I gotta agree with Jamada. If the Astralis we saw yesterday shows up in terms of not only just their meta read, but also how they choose to play with their jungler, I think it can be a very competitive series, but I think we still need to keep in mind of the fact that Elyoya is one of the best junglers in the league, Nisqy is one of the best mid laners, your competition is stacked, but they made it close last time, and they most certainly have the capabilities to do it again.
Can they follow what SK has been doing today in the LEC so far? We will see in just a few minutes. But yesterday, 1-1-3 was crucial in Astralis' victory over BDS. So Ender, talk us through how he navigated in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you guys talking about who's going to show up for the team. It looked like Malrong showed up for Astralis in yesterday's game number 3 because 1-1-3 was all over the early game. Let's walk it through because first things first is right off the bat, he sees enemy junglers starting out on Raptors, which makes him feel very comfortable going for an early top lane gank. He's going to be on the Sejuani here, just clearing out his topside camps, of course, spamming away the ganks. Important to note also that Finn isn't really hitting this wave early on, is allowing Adam to get a quick little push going going towards him, nothing too extreme, but this ward was spotted out, and that's not really going to dissuade 113 from looking for the gank, because look what he does. He's got the sweeper in hand, is going to be able to clear that one out, and then feints that he's walking down towards the blue buff. At the same time, the red side clear from the Wukong has finished too, and he's actually going to immediately read there could be something funky going down on the top side of the map. But at this point, the lane is kind of doomed for Adam. He's got too many minions. He either has to back up right now and give up a whole lot, or he is going to risk losing to a gank. He's going to assume maybe the Sejuani is on the blue buff, but 113 holds out long enough that he's able to find this great window to look for the gank and get the kill just before the Wukong can show up. Again, Wukong just now in river, but he is going to be able to punish the early recall attempt and get one kill to finish it off. So you assume, okay, everything's all right. It's all fine. We're going to stick around in top lane and try to get this push out, right? That's exactly what they did with the Wukong to try and push out the wave, but unfortunately, it doesn't quite work. See, off of the reset from the Sejuani, you'd expect Sedge to maybe run down towards her bot side camps because all of those are up and available, and this causes a critical error from Adam, who's trying to push in one extra wave. He has the option right about here before he throws the undertow. You see all these minions here underneath turret range, they're going to get one shot by the turret, and then the focus fire of the red side minions would push it back. Adam would have a little bit more protection while his jungler is going down to the blue buff, but he throws this undertow, which means he kind of has to stick around and full clear this wave. 113, who also gets spotted out by the Scryer's Bloom here, knows the exact positioning of the Wukong, knows he's going to be going towards this blue buff, and he has yet another window in which he can look to gank Adam and shut him down. 113 was all over the early game in this series, and I think if Astralis are going to stand a chance, he has to find something very similar versus Mad Lions today. Now let's get into the final best of 3 of the winter season with Caedrel and Drakos.
Thank you very much, Christiana Frierson. That is 113. You just saw his masterclass of a game 3 from yesterday in that early game. Excellent, excellent breakdown. We'll talk about it more today because I think if he can put up the same level of performance, Astralis high hopes. They already watched one upset happen in the previous series as SK not only won, but dominated Team Vitality. This has been a very...
It's been a wild few
weeks.
This
has been the least predictable split of all time.
Yeah, I think it's like the fall of teams like Fnatic and XL, the rise of teams like even BDS, who fell out yesterday, but they still showed a really good regular season. Now it's on Astralis. If Astralis upsets here, hypothetically, let's say they beat Mad Lions, we're looking at SK versus Astralis next week, top 4. Winner gets 3rd place, right? And when you're looking long-term championship points for the summer finals and getting to that top 6, that's huge. You know, 60, 70, 80, whatever championship points you can accrue, the longer the year goes on, the better. So if they can keep that consistency up, these teams, and keep surprising, then they could be pushing our top 6 in those finals.
Something I did not expect we would be saying at this point in the season, but here we go. One final spot in the best 5 bracket on the line. Mad Lions versus Astralis.
Right, let's get into the draft then. Mad Lions on the blue side, Astralis on the red. Best of 3 elimination match. We'll see what Mad Lions want to prioritize here. I think the way the LEC's been shaping up, it's been a lot about bot jungle. Teams have taken different directions in that regard. I think when Astralis have playmakers like Jarvan and Sejuani, they look a lot more on the ball. Whereas teams like, I mean, we saw last series, Bo plays things like Karthus, carry junglers, tank junglers can be one thing. Elyoya has been having high prior on that Sejuani as well. Is that something Astralis wants to ban away? Because I think looking at these stats here, actually Mad Lions going to ban it. Elyoya has 8 games of Sejuani already this split.
An impressive number thus far. A lot of bot lane focus coming out. And in general, you're completely right. I think just the meta across the board, no matter which team is playing, feels so bot jungle focused. The big difference is how they're going to draft a holistic composition, because Mad Lions went for scaling, went for safe, I would say, maybe not super interactive compositions against G2, and they were obliterated in each and every mid game. It was only 2, to be fair. Now we'll have to see how Astralis want to match up. If they want to play another high-pressure game, JeongHoon and 113, huge contributing factors in their success and their upset yesterday. Need to be set up for success in draft once again. For now, Maokai traded for, I don't know, what's next on the jungle tier list?
Well, you're looking at things like Vi and Wukong on the next kind of list. If they want to pick up a jungler here, Lucian Nami is available if Astralis want to pick that up, and they will do so insta-lock, looking to match on 3 here. What they're telling me here is that
they have a couple of junglers that they can choose from, probably 3, and they're happy to look for counterpick on a solo lane if Mad Lions decides to go in that direction. But Mad Lions look very prepared, instantly locking in Varus and Nautilus. I think they expected the draft to go this direction. So now how does Astralis respond? Do they go for a mage for Dajor? Do they go for something like the Rise? Sylas is banned away. Some kind of playmaker for him to start roaming around the map. Or do they just match jungle? That's the easy way out here. And then go to 4-5s. Jungle bot picked up as we expected. Such powerhouse roles currently in the league. And there it is, Vi, to make sure they can lock down the Varus. Going into 4-5s, I expect Astralis to look for some kind of blind pick top here. Carzzy, Gnar for Finn. Take away some of the champions from Chasy, perhaps like the Renekton or the Fiora along those lines. And then look for counterpick mid. But they're taking some mages away from Nisqy for now. But I think Nisqy's been such a standout player for Mad Lions.
Nisqy has been an absolute monster across the entire season. You saw the stats. I'm sure we'll show them again in this best of 3. But individually just putting up not record-breaking numbers, but incredible numbers, top of the table numbers. One thing I do want to call out already is that the one win that Astralis were able to get in their last best of 3 versus Mad Lions was due in no small part to the Lucian Nami. So glad to see that come back again. I think the adaptation from Mad Lions in that game, they did have an Ashe Draven, which I expected to do very well, but Hylissang on engaged champions, always going to be something that I think is going to suit Mad Lions very well, and it seems like they've already adapted from their series against G2 a lot more aggressive engage options to get fights kicked off. Yeah,
Hylissang's always been the engaged support player in Europe. This is his first Nautilus game of the split, would you be surprised? He's only got 1 Leona game, and barring that, it's just range support. So here he is on the Nautilus. There's the Caedrel ban, in case Mad Lions do want to go the direction of a Victor or an Azir. They want to make sure they're not playing up against the Caedrel with double AP mid-jungle. But here I think someone like Asante or Gnar could work really well for Finn. The Azir blinds could work as well, but you don't really want to play Azir with Vi. Things like the Talia work better, things like Rise work better as well. So Astralis, if they do go for mid here, are telling me they're looking for a carry top. We have seen Finn play things like the Scion, but I think he really shines on champions like the GP or the Kled yesterday.
Well, and I think that at this point in the draft, you don't have a traditional big frontline or backline hyper carry. Lucian can serve that role if he's wildly far ahead, but Ahri, Lucian, much more mid-game champions than they are late-game champions, so drafting a Scion at this point in the draft feels like a bit of a risk for the side of Astralis.
I feel like Talia here is insane for Mad Lions. Look at the amount of dashes on Astralis. Lucian, Vi, Ahri, I think you're stopping so much of their engage if they want to go in that direction. Jayce, we'll see which role that goes into. Can work really well in mid as well if Nisqy wants to pilot it. It's got really good poke, and it will be a mid Jayce, so they're going to go for double AD solo laners, make sure the Maokai is the only AP. Very poke heavy. Varus, Jayce, Maokai. If you're walking into river there, half your HP is gone in the blink of an eye. Counterpick to Gnar. What does Finn want to go for? Traditional counterpicks, things like Camille. But yeah, Finn's no stranger to digging deep.
And we saw the Varus Jayce combo in the hands of G2, Caps, of course, on the Jayce. It was on some on the Varus. And if you can get to the mid game with any kind of gold lead, this range advantage will be incredibly devastating for so many short-range heroes. The GP coming out here, I like it, one, because we've seen Finn dominate on the pick, but also with immobile champions like the Varus and the Jayce, although the movement speed steroid will help from the acceleration gate. Maybe there's an angle, even if there's a bit of a range difference between the comps here, to force an engage using the Cannon Barrage.
You're absolutely right. I think Astralis' whole comp is space. You know, you think of a Nami ult flying through the team fight, a GP ult on top of that, a Culling. This pushes Mad Lions back, so poking becomes a little bit harder. They're going to have to respect the amount of engage and space that Astralis can create in these objective fights, but Mad Lions have a very good poke-heavy comp. So hard engage versus poke, how do they play it? Mad Lions want to take their time. They want to chunk them out. They want to waste around 30 seconds to a minute around these objectives, whereas Astralis really just want to pull the trigger, send all the spells out, and they can use these spells to secure objectives, right? If the dragon's half HP, you can throw out a Nami ult and a GP ult, they back up, you get the objective, you run out. You don't have to always commit on hard engage comps, you can scare them away. So we'll see how Astralis decides to play it.
Those are, of course, just the compositional identities, but have to see if anyone can break this game open, find large early game advantages, and kind of change the story of how both these compositions are supposed to focus. Bot lane and jungle, always the story in this meta. Let's see if the mid laners, maybe the top laners, can show up this time around. It is a do or die best of 3. And after the series earlier today, and after Astralis' series yesterday, it feels like anything is possible. Keep our eyes on both sides to see who is showing up today. That is all that matters. So we get ready for our final best of 3, Mad Lions versus Astralis.
Right, this is it. The last best of 3 before we move on to the next stage. Top 4, best of 5s.
And if you've been keeping up, 113 changed the emote this week, and I feel like it's been doing him some favors. A different Ahri heart emo.
It's like a mantra. He wants to make sure he finds the one that gets him those wins. I feel like I do the same in solo queue. If I go on a lose streak, I just change my icon, you know?
Oh,
See
yeah.
if it freshens things up a bit. Maybe it's the icon that's giving me bad teammates. Maybe I'm not the problem.
It's not the algorithm. It's not the game.
It's not my skill level. It's the icon.
Yeah, it's that, what, 540 IP icon.
Yep.
There it is.
Find it from one, get a win streak on it, and then you reminisce to the days when you peaked. You're like, what was the icon I used when I got my highest elo? I'll use that one again.
Yeah.
But it never works.
Well, right now, individually for 113, the icon or the emote that's given him the best performance is this one. It is that Ahri heart. Yesterday, game 3. This is a single game. This is absolutely cherry-picked stats, but we have seen what the peak of 113 looks like, and it was in game 3 yesterday versus BDS. And Elyoya, while he did struggle against G2, is still a jungle powerhouse, and if you are an Astralis fan, this is the level of performance you need to see from 113 today. But already, aggressive trading on the bottom side, and see when junglers want to rear their heads down in the bottom lane.
Jungle, 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 that's what it's all about. We're talking about 113. Elyoya will also look for some kind of plays. I mean, he's going to do the exact same clear as 113 here. They're going to do 3 camps on red side, and I expect them to move towards bot. Looking at how aggressive Hylissang is playing this.
Another hook connecting. This is big, very powerful level 1 from the side of MAD. The fact that they've landed 2 hooks before even ticking over to level 2 is a big edge, as some of those early levels can make it so much easier. Lucian and Nami have the power to be big threats early on, but usually until level 3, it can be a bit of a struggle.
I love these 2 wards that Astralis have placed here to make sure they can cover off any pathing that Elyoya takes into the river. I'll keep my eyes on them though, because I think they might expire, especially that bot side one when he comes down. See if they can get that information. Luckily for them, 113 is around on the Grom, so it did expire right there in the tri-bush, so they've just lost a little bit of vision as to where Elyoya is. He's going to walk into the blue side jungle, can call Hylissang straight away if he wants to fight 113. What's the plan? Is it going to be a wraparound? Putting a sapling in the bush to cover off 113. He'll spot him out on the blue now. Ping's coming down from both junglers.
No smite for Elyoya, but 113 doesn't know that. Hits him with the heart. It's a friendly guy playing with no stakes here. Sapling connecting. Elyoya feeling confident in this, just trying to make sure if the blue buff's going to hit anybody, it is 113. Hylissang on the way up means they're forced to disengage. It's going to take a lot of time for them to clear out this blue, but with the bot prio they've put together, MAD Lions should steal this buff away.
Yeah, I love it from MAD Lions. I don't think they expected to get that much push in this matchup, but I think Hylissang got some really good trades, used the Ignite, used the heal aggressively onto JeongHoon, got his flash, and that allowed them to get the push to allow Elyoya to then take away this blue buff. I don't think they'll get anything else from this. Bit of vision, and then he'll move back towards his top side, but Crab spawning soon. Does he stick around? And I think the beauty of sticking around here is the fact that you've got Nisqy just hovering around. I won't even use the minimap here. I'll take that away. God.
Zoomed in.
Yeah, zooming in constantly. It's Nisqy who's basically being the human ward here, just trying to spot out where 113 is, protect Elyoya's camps. That's the important thing, because ideally 113 would have loved to take away blue himself.
Yep. And again, small advantages can add up pretty quickly. Elyoya as well, we know Demonic Embrace, incredibly frustrating to play against a Maokai once he's gotten that single item. Early lane phase, not too explosive quite yet. Bot lane, the biggest discrepancy we're seeing, alongside top lane where, at least in the early lane, Finn doesn't really have the wave clear or the damage to go toe-to-toe with Chasy.
Lane's pretty stable for MAD. Allows Elyoya to do this. Again, just going to walk into the jungle. He's going to stop the base here, Hilly. Kobbe's going to actually dash forwards into him. Hilly, he's alone.
Playing with full confidence here. Kobbe's seen that move. You play enough years against Hylissang, sometimes you have to call the bluff.
Yeah. I think the meme in pro play back in the days was you had to call an Uber to go to base if Hilly was around, because he would chase you to the end of the earth. And make sure he dies to stop you from getting out there. Kobbe missed the cannon, unfortunately. Should be able to get the rest of the wave in. But like you said, Chasy in isolation doing well up against Finn here. Expect him to TP back soon.
I think the difficult thing for Kobbe now is, the good news is he has biscuits, so he can get more mana back. But if he can't force this wave in, or if they can't get a greater trade in their favor, then Hylissang overall still made a winning play. Stop the recall, stop them from buying or spending their money. They currently have a 2 longsword advantage, but you can see Astralis gonna call their jungler for a bit of backup, potentially debate as to whether or not 113 should just head straight to the Gromp respawn, but he's gonna stick around for a little while. Maybe hoping that Hylissang will once again...
He's baiting at JeongHoon, I think. He's trying to recall in their face to make them walk up, and they're taking the bait here.
Carzzy help themselves. They want to cancel the bait. This is so back. So bad.
But the back did get stopped too.
Yeah.
So now, Carzzy's lost his flash. 113 had to commit his too. He used his own flash to make sure the knock would land. Not enough chain CC though. They can't follow up with the bubble. The stun duration or the knock duration isn't long enough. And so that'll be that. They still need to base here, Astralis, and I think MAD have a lot of pressure on the spot side. Chasy
looking for a solo kill. Finn's got enough healing to go in. Jumps right on top of him. House is going to go a little wide. That statue not going to connect.
Cheeky sidestep from Finn. That would have hurt. Slowed. And he's just come off the back of a TP. When you're a top laner and the enemy top laner is TP'd back, you want to use all your health to try to trade as aggressively as possible, because when you TP back, you're full, right? You're going to regen. So it's just a net positive there for Chasy. Winning in isolation, MAD Lions have mid push, they have bot push, they're going to take away this dragon. Astralis don't really have much to play around in this early game.
It's just been such a difficult early game for Astralis. Kobbe hasn't even recalled yet, so there's just nothing that they can do here. He's about out of mana and he's under his tower. He will finally get a recall off, but while they were able to burn a flash for Carzzy, if they don't follow up in the next few minutes and capitalize on that summoner spell advantage, Astralis have not gotten a lot done in this early game, where Elyoya helping keep that bot prior alive, stealing away the blue, now taking a dragon. So yes, they are small advantages, but right now MAD are playing significantly better in the early game.
Yeah, I think the window that Astralis can look through here is they're playing Vi, Gangplank, Ahri. These are very level 6 ultimate heavy champions, you know. If Nisqy gets locked up by a Vi ult and Ahri can gap close with a GP ult, that's a kill. So I think that's where they'll be looking next. The early game in the first few levels has not gone in their favor. The lanes are getting pushed in, but once they get access to those spells, they can start to force, and they really need to, because this is a very mid-game centric comp. Your late game insurance is the Gangplank, yes, but they need to start looking for plays somewhere.
It's also some pretty squishy compositions overall. There's potential for Jayce to one-shot people as we get late in the game. There's potential for GP to one-shot people. Outside of Elyoya, Hylissang, and 113, a lot of squishy targets. So getting any kind of lead can snowball out of hand so incredibly quickly.
Yep.
JeongHoon, of course, opting for Guardian in this lane. Could have gone for something like Ahri, as Electrocute Nami has been nothing but a thing of the past, but instead just opting for safety, trying to make sure that Kobbe can stay healthy in some of those difficult early levels.
Yeah. Hilly sweeps the lane there. Oftentimes when you're a bot laner and you see the enemy support sweep the lane brushes, you always expect the enemy jungler to be there. So I wonder if Astralis are a bit scared on this bot side. Chasy's looking for a little bit of information as to where 113 is. He's going to base around mid. Not sure how close he is to level 6. Needs to get that reset off, and I expect him to head towards bot side. But with Herald spawning in 10 seconds, it's a hard call to make. They really want to look for a Herald fight if they can get this Vi to level 6. They don't want to give that over for free to MAD with this top push.
It's difficult. He's close at this point in the game, but not close enough. They could have it for the next available fight. We'll need to finish at least one camp, and falling a little bit behind in experience compared to Elyoya, who can just walk in here with ultimate, threaten. If Hylissang hits a hook.
At least really close to 6. One more minion and he's going to level up. Dajor knows that there's going to be a play down here. Ready to cover. 113 needs to get level 6 as well. Both teams are probably communicating for plays here. There's the level 6 on Vi. So now they can match at least.
Quick little dabbing penguin from Nisqy. He's feeling pretty good about taking out that control ward. The other side. Good news for Astralis. They're able to get that Vi level 6 before anyone can capitalize. Now Hylissang getting aggressive. That's level 6 coming in. Carzzy immediately going to fall, but a clean cleanse comes out from Kobbe to take him to safety. Minion dematerializer. They're desperately trying to get the push. Dajor now stepping forward. Is going to need to dash out to safety. Get away from this one. 113 going to step in. And a nice dash back from Dajor just to make sure that only one of them gets hit up by the snare. But with the ultimate down, a lot of the playmaking from Dajor is off the table.
A lot of ultimates used. Hilly used the Ignite, the ult, the Carzzy used ult as well. And they only got Cleanse out of Kobbe. Chasy might look for an ult here.
Wallop goes in.
Not going to commit. Hilly. No flash, of course. They have the Nami tidal wave too.
Afraid. A lot of burst damage coming in. Coling now going in. A minion blocks a little bit of damage. The GP cannon barrage on the backside. They're looking to take down Hylissang. Heal has already been proc. Kobbe now stepping forward, and first blood for the bot lane of Astralis.
Winning lane now, isn't it? Astralis have something to play through. 113 is hovering around this as well. So Hilly just over-committing on the level 6, maybe expecting more damage out of Carzzy to force more summoners out of Kobbe, but they traded 3 spells for a cleanse, and so when he's out of position like that, Astralis aren't really afraid of anything. They know it's all on cooldown. They can step forwards and punish it. Now pings towards this Herald. Elyoya's just dropped bot. Hilly's on the way up, and looks like Astralis are lane swapping, so maybe they want to contest this, but they'll be a bit late to this play. Maybe 113 can stall it. I don't think he can. A little bit of vision will help, but yeah, JeongHoon's still in base. This should just be gone.
Yeah, no blast cone in the area either, so if 113 goes in, he is not getting out. Hit up by the sapling, they'll have a bit of vision there. Easy objective take from the side of MAD Lions. Should mean the gold will be in their favor, but big bot lane play from MAD Lions kind of turned against them here as they get a little over-aggressive.
They split up as well. Where's Hilly going and where's Carzzy going? Carzzy's just calling this off, saying, I can't commit to this, and Hilly's just taking the long way around in the face of Astralis. There's the GP ult behind, which just zones away Carzzy. Yes, he can get in range for heal, but Kobbe still has that flash, gets the kill, and that's the power of Astralis' comp.
Hook going through. Kobbe in the area is just going to disengage. Carzzy has ultimate. They don't want to risk it. They don't have all the information they need to get aggressive here, but still about a 1K gold lead in favor of the Mad Lions. Part of that is the local gold. 113 definitely overstaying, and now they've got more than enough damage to just pop him. Now a hook. The follow-up. That route is so long. There's no more clans. It's easy. Mad Lions. Bot lane was a disaster, but this top lane fight is everything they could possibly want. Clean tank from Hylissang. A triple kill for the tree and the jungle. Mad Lions taking over.
All the kills went to the right target there for Mad Lions. Their mid-game Maokai getting towards that demonic embrace, getting the only AP damage on your team ahead is going to be so important in terms of itemization. They're going to herald this top tower. The whole thing's going to go down. And it's Astralis who opted into this lane swap. Mad Lions matched it, but the problem is Finn was in bot lane. Chasy actually stayed on this top side. It's a 4v3. Tower will take a beating, will live on one plate. Maybe they can look for Elyoya though.
Pretty low. Big shutdown. Dajor, the instant charm follow-up. That's going to be one dead tree. Big tab the shutdown in the back pocket of the Ahri. But an instant demonic, as you called out, alongside boots too. Next fight is going to be difficult for Astralis if they cannot take Elyoya out of the equation.
Bit of a response. I mean, the only problem that Astralis have, hang on a second, Chasy just jumping forward is just going to chunk out Finn. Don't think there's too much of a kill pressure here. The problem for Astralis there is Mad didn't use any flashes for that. They just kind of saw 113 walk into them in a 3 versus 4 and took the fight. And the lockdown is just too much for him to sustain through. Maokai W, Gnar's in the bush as well. Kobbe has to just run for his life. He gets hit by the roots next to JeongHoon. And yeah, I think actually a bit of a mistake there by Kobbe. I think he was out of range, but he backstepped back into the ult. Ends up in a triple kill for Elyoya. Mad Lions, Astralis respond with a kill, and I think they just got 2 plates on that top tower. Still going to be down 1 to 2,000 gold.
Could be a big fist fight here on the top side. Elyoya now going in. They can maybe look for a bit of disengage of Dajor. Again, the chain CC from Mad Lions is flawless. Elyoya and Hylissang playing these fights beautifully, and now someone has to sacrifice themselves. Kobbe has the cleanse, so he's going to do it. Nisqy walking in. Can do a lot of damage. Elyoya now caught out into the tower. Cannon barrage. The cannon barrage turn, and now Elyoya is taken out. Beautiful. Excellent wave from JeongHoon.
Really nice bait there from Astralis' bot lane. I don't think Elyoya thought JeongHoon had flash still after all those plays on the top side. They will end up getting this tower. Looks like Mad Lions are the ones making the plays, and Astralis are coming away with scraps to barely keep in this game. But now just over 2,000 gold lead. GP ult helping out in terms of zoning away the carries of Mad from helping out their jungler there.
Yep.
But like you said, it's all off the back of this jungle support. Maokai, Nautilus, so much lockdown. The power of the melee supports in the early stages means you can just keep on forcing these plays. Dajor had the flash in this instance, but didn't have the ultimate, but the chain CC is too much.
Yep. The point and click, just guaranteeing the hook can land. Punting him back into the waiting arms of the ally, and then again, the follow-up here with the ultimate.
Yeah. Cleanse, protect JeongHoon, wait for the W, and then flash on the tower. GP ult behind them, no way out.
And you can see clean mechanical moments here coming in from Astralis, but the decision-making a little bit suspect. We were singing 113's praises. Yesterday he was a monster across the map, but still has to play with respect, still has to be careful. You know, the Ahri heart giveth and the Ahri heart taketh away, and right now it's taken a lot as he's 1.5k behind individually. Of course, this early game isn't all on his shoulders. It's been a struggle for Finn in the lane phase, and his first item starting to come through. Might get a little bit easier, but Dajor,
ooh, they only have 1 minion.
Not gonna need it. He will most likely walk into the spooky little Martian in the brush, but at this moment it's not going to happen as Astralis again looking to collapse. 113 on the flank. If he can isolate Carzzy, that's going to be big. JeongHoon, where's the follow-up though? 113 in the midst of everybody. They're just trying to burn through his health bar. Now the Maokai ult, they're looking to turn it. 113 barely making it out to safety. It looks like Hylissang should fall here, but the flash out keeping him alive. No, Finn burning him, I think, with a trial by fire to finish that kill off.
Astralis needs a base and catch this top wave. Make sure they don't lose a top tier 2. They're going to get the mid push as well. Nice flank from 113. I'm not sure he found his way there. Dajor had to use the ultimate. Nisqy looking for the kill. No flash.
Punish. He's going to lose sight here. That's going to be massive. 113 now needs to follow up.
Nisqy.
Is he going to be able to grab this kill? Yes, just barely able to finish it. 113 should be able to get the kill back in response, but Nisqy playing on the edge of tower range there does finally get knocked down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Kobbe goes down, but Chasy on an absolute tear. He doesn't even need Gnar. He's miniing his way through, and JeongHoon knows he's dead. He's going to emote spam and accept his fate. Double kill for Chasy in the mid lane.
The map is just exploding, isn't it? Astralis get a good pick initially onto Hilly, but then all of a sudden we look bot and their bot lane's dying in mid, so we'll have to see what happened on the replay there. Probably Chasy just collapsed down and Kobbe was a bit too far forwards hitting the tower, I expect. Well played from Nisqy to secure that kill. If he missed the hammer form Q, he wouldn't have been able to trade 1-for-1 and would have ended up dying. Invested the flash for it. But Mad Lions just winning out on these skirmishes.
Yeah, again, just continuously getting these small trade-ups.
So here it is. Chasy's on the way down. Kobbe looks for the all-in onto Carzzy. Manages to get the kill. Takes 2 tower shots. Elyoya's here. Chasy's just going to jump over the wall, finish off the kill. Kobbe has flash, I think, but it's no point in using it. And then JeongHoon, yeah, he knows he's dead. Spams a little bit of emotes. There's no real way out for him. But they pick up the kill. So that ends up in a 1-for-2. The bot lane play was a 1-for-1. Astralis fighting back as much as they can. Their champions are really mid-game focused, so they need to look for these skirmishes. Need to start fighting fire with fire.
Definitely do. Chasy, though, very big at this point in the game. 1 item and a decent amount of armor. Makes it pretty hard for Kobbe and JeongHoon to fight him. See what the play is going to be. Mad Lions setting up for their second Herald of the game. Hylissang mistiming the hook a bit, but we can't fault him too much.
I think, right? Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I think it's all bot lane, isn't it, Astralis? It's always been bot lane. The whole split has been bot lane. Get Kobbe ahead, see what he can do in the later stages of the game, and see if he can carry Astralis across the finish line. You can see in the stats, despite Astralis, I think, having a negative win rate, Kobbe's up there in terms of kill participation, making sure he's there with the team, gold difference, funnel Kobbe, get him ahead, and sometimes it works, and sometimes, you know, even when he has 8-9 kills on Xayah, they fall apart.
He and JeongHoon, the dynamic duo, keeping this team moving forward. And while Hylissang and Carzzy don't have the most fantastic scoreline, and Carzzy was caught out there in the mid lane, Hylissang and Elyoya have been taking over, have been coming up big in these fights, and Chasy, I think, a bit uncontested in the early game. That is, of course, the nature of the matchup. There's not a lot that the GP can do early on if Chasy's good at playing this one out. But as we get later, we need to see Astralis get value out of this pick for Finn past just the cannon barrage, because Chasy rolling up into mid lane and getting 2 kills is just the start of the impact this Gnar can have on a side lane.
Yeah, it's just going to be a beefy boy, and he can. I think the beauty of Gnar and the reason it's just so flexible in pro play is it can split push, it can team fight. Fantastic. Checks both boxes. That's a good top laner right there, and it's good blind pick in most cases. So he's going to get the spot tier 1. Looks like Finn is just grouping up towards mid, knowing that that tower is dead. Dajor's trying to respond on this top tower, has a little bit less damage and has a smaller wave, so he won't be able to pick it up yet. And Nisqy should be able to respond to it. And Astralis just constantly focusing on mid lane. Never really looking too much towards the sides. They want to make sure the Lucian Nami has the push, and they can be first to move around the map.
Yeah, and of course it is difficult for them to play too much to sides right now. Individually, Gnar, 40 CS discrepancy. Jayce also doing very well. Behind in CS, but overall still ahead, about 300 in gold. Ahri, without using the ultimate, doesn't really have all that all-in threat.
Yeah. So, do you want to hear a fun fact about Astralis?
Sure.
They're currently 6 wins and 9 losses. On red side, they're 2 wins and 6 losses, but on blue side, they're 4 and 3. So even if they were to lose this game, I think blue side's where they find comfort. In all the best of threes, every win they've picked up is in blue side as well. Feels like maybe it's an easier way for them to draft solo lanes, perhaps. We'll have to see in game 2, as I expect they'll choose it, but only 2k gold down just yet. Red side's been their crutch throughout this split, but looking to contest this mid wave. Mad Lions putting the Herald down.
Getting ready for the full-on 5v5. Herald might not charge, though, if Mad Lions aren't willing to fight for this.
Look at Dajor.
Chasy getting closer and closer to Mega. Dajor on the side, but Mad Lions can collapse on this flank.
They know he's here.
There. Easy for them to check. Kobbe getting a bit of poke. Dajor just has to back up here. Mad Lions getting shepherded into the bottom jungle, but there's not really a play to be made. Big hook going in onto 113. Immediately they're forcing it out. A barrel going to land on the Hylissang. They should be able to burn through before the fight even kicks off. A beautiful bubby from JeongHoon keeps this fight going, but 113 taken out. Chasy still doing so much damage. Kobbe over the wall. Kobbe managing to find the angle. Chasy going to get cut down as well. Nisqy moving into the backside. Nisqy desperate to finish this kill. Nisqy grabbing one. Dajor leaping forward with the charm. The damage coming through, but Elyoya brought into the back line. Dajor hand delivering kills to the Mad Lions. It's a heartbreaker. Finn and Dajor still standing, but Nisqy and Elyoya ready for the fight.
Can he snipe him? He's going to stand behind the creeps here, Dajor. Does Nisqy go for it? Oh, nice dodge. So 3 for 3. Absolute bloodbath in the river. It was a really good fight initially for Astralis. It was Kobbe who just salvaged the entire thing. But Nisqy makes sure that Mad Lions can draw even. They'll get the dragon as well, so they'll put themselves on soul point. I'm gonna be excited to look at that fight again, because I think Finn's positioning was great too. Now Dajor is TP'd back on this bot side. Maybe they're looking for a couple of kills before Mad Lions can get out with this objective. Nisqy no flash. The charm's gonna go wide.
Dajor fishing with the charm. Finn is so low. The movement speed gonna come through.
Nisqy
procs the barrels. Astralis now on the retreat, but that is 3 Drakes for the Mad Lions. Yes, it is only a 2k gold lead, but Astralis cannot afford to keep losing fights.
Yeah, okay, so looks like a Finn here from the start, because look at his positioning in that bush. Mad Lions are in a choke, and I think he realizes the second Hilly hooks in, they have to commit, so he pops the barrel combo, then drops the GP ult. That zones Carzzy away. Now watch Dajor will come to the side here and finish off Hilly. And then eyes on Kobbe on that top side. Dashes forwards, gets onto Carzzy, flashes over Elyoya and Chasy, waits for his dash to come back up, and then goes back over the wall to finish off the Gnar, but they're so low HP. Nisqy rejoins the fight after zoning Dajor away and forcing him over the Dragon Pit. Flash from Dajor was good to try and get away, but Elyoya is going to follow on the W, smites to kill the Nami, and then Nisqy pushes Dajor back, who dodges out on that shock blast. 3 for 3.
Difficult fight. Again, clutch moments from Kobbe. Not quite having the damage to burn through Hylissang as quickly as they would like. Of course, don't forget, tomorrow is our first best of 5. G2 versus Koi at the top of the bracket. They're both already locked top 3, but we'll find out who is top 2 after that match. For now, though, still trying in this best of 3 to find out our last team to make it to the top 4. That's a lot of numbers, so if you struggle to keep up, don't worry. There'll be a bracket breakdown at some point.
Winner tomorrow goes to the finals, basically.
Yep.
And the winner here will face SK. Soul points for Mad Lions. Infinity Edge really close to completion for Kobbe. Look at the gold difference on the AD carry. 2.1 lead for the Lucian. That's their win condition. Astralis know it. I think they're trying to buy time. You can see they're giving a lot of respect here to Mad Lions, allowing them to control mid lane because they're waiting for that third item on the Lucian. And when they get it, they'll start to fight back a little bit more. Ooh. There's the poke, the Jayce, the Varus, the Gnar saplings, the Maokai saplings.
We said it in draft, Astralis have a lot of tools to start fights, but they need to start fights because otherwise they're going to get poked out. Finn trying to start something here in the jungle, but I think it might be his own funeral. A flash out to safety, and the Maokai AP damage is going to finish him. This Maokai's killing everybody on the backside while the fight breaking out in the center of your screen is not going in favor of Astralis. It is an absolute slaughter.
Jungle support is down, and all of a sudden Mad Lions are looking at a Baron. Finn has the teleport. Kobbe, half HP, no culling, no flash. It's going to be hard for him to get into this pit. Dajor just used the ult as well. Do they try to contest this on the 3v4? Face checking the Maokai saplings is going to do so much damage. Leandry's Demonic Embrace. Are you kidding? I'm not sure they can contest this. Finn maybe can steal it with a Miracle Barrel.
Big barrels. Trying to set up. Carzzy's going to have to auto those. They have to be perfect. It's not going to happen.
Big blunder from Astralis, disrespecting. I think they used the Gangplank ultimate to clear the mid wave just before the play happened. They were trying to hold on here. They were stalling for the Lucian item, and you'll see it. As they push in mid here, Mad Lions, the poke hits JeongHoon. Now Gangplank ult is used on the wave in mid to defend the tower. All Astralis want to do here is hold, but Finn kind of sucks them into a fight by getting caught here. He could flash out. I do believe it's up, but instead he just pops the stopwatch. And then 113 commits, but like you said, the damage on the backside, just poking off JeongHoon. The roots just tagging the end of the Nami, and Jungler's dead, free Baron.
Yeah, and if Finn did not have removed Scurvy there, that would have been a double for Elyoya, kind of incidentally, just on accident from the ult hitting 2 people. This is one very, very strong Maokai. And that is kind of the threat. If this champion is behind, doesn't get as many items, it is just that engage bot. But with Elyoya so far ahead and so many squishy members on the side of Astralis, alongside so much poke, it's going to be hard. Hilly flashing over the wall, landing the hook immediately, trying to turn that one around, but taking out the GP, not a bad trade for Mad Lions overall.
He just flashed over the wall and hooked Finn and ulted him. I mean, if you had stopwatch there, it would make a bit more sense, but in the end, it's a 1-for-1. Probably worth it. You've just killed their top laner and a lot of their wave clear. TP back here from Nisqy. The siege will begin. Mid-tier 2 is the focused. Kobbe might have to use the cunning here to hold it if they want to.
This is the struggle. Like you highlighted with Finn down, most of their reliable wave clear is gone. The culling does come out. 113 just posturing like he's going to engage, threatening, but that poke is massive. And again, a single sapling into their back line now means JeongHoon is dead.
The saplings are doing so much damage. Just landing constantly onto the back line. It's so hard for Astralis to walk up even. Dragon spawning in 50 seconds. They need to base now, get the wards, get the health bars back up, and find a way to contest this soul. It's going to be so hard though. Elyoya is just going to... Let's just keep the camera here. One sapling in that bush. He's going to throw another one in another bush, and another bush, and they're just going to not be able to walk in anywhere. And they're just going to deal so much damage that the Nami Ws will have to come out to sustain.
Remember, they nerfed
it's just a minefield.
They nerfed the item. Doesn't matter. When you're this far ahead, nerfs irrelevant.
And look at the pinks as well.
And I think we have to give credit, Caedrel, because we talked about it. On one item, Astralis had so much room to make these big plays, but Mad Lions matched them blow for blow. And now with this kind of lead with Baron, that poke, that extra range that we talked about, makes most of this game so easy for Mad to play out. They've been playing it so cleanly as well. And for Astralis, you can't be sloppy against this composition. If you're sloppy, you get hit by a J-Shock blast of Varus. Varus isn't even going poke.
Yeah.
They're so lucky he's not lethality. This game would be infinitely harder to play. But objectives would go down slower, so...
Yeah, bit of it one-hit damage is not too bad to have for the comp, I suppose, but you're absolutely right. I mean, they're just playing dodgeball, and even if they dodge half the skill shots, they get hit by the collateral anyway, right? I mean, it's not like they're aiming for you half the time, but if it hits, then it hits. And yeah, Ocean Soul, Finn's going to respond with a top tower. Might get a top tier 2 as well, so not bad cross map coming in here. Astralis' next win condition is the Elder. Just hold on to the Elder.
Nice predict by JeongHoon. And again, the damage from the sapling's annoying. this point, only getting hit by one, not too bad. So overall, Baron, they leverage that pressure. They secure a few tier 2 towers as well as the Ocean Soul. I'd say a solid Baron at this stage of the game. Not able to break open any of the inhibitors, but when you've got Ocean Soul, again, against a composition that's a lot about mid-game, a lot about bursting down 1 or 2 targets, pretty damn good to have.
Yep. Every soul's just goddamn good to have, really, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, but like, when you're basically going to get DPS checked by the Ahri every time she charms you, Ocean Soul feels extra nice.
True, it does indeed. But the only disadvantage of having the soul, of course, is Elder spawns, and you know what kind of damage that can do. That can turn the entire tide of a game. But I don't think MAD Lions will allow that to happen. 2 minutes on the clock for Baron. They're just going to set up exactly what they did on that bot side towards the top side, put the saplings in, put the wards down, wait for Astralis to walk up, inevitably having to contest the Nash, and then they'll just look for turns, I expect. So it's on Astralis to find an avenue in. Could be on a force on a mid-wave here.
Kobbe, not afraid to be the frontliner. Hylissang again locked up, goes back into the wall. They should be able to burn through, but it's Elyoya on the flank. Kobbe locked up. Cleanse now coming out. The Colin doing good damage. Massive barrels. Finn's got 3 items, and he's getting frisky. Big damage going forward there. Chasy, they have to respect the Gnar. Carzzy on the backside alongside Nisqy, throwing out skill shots left and right. Kobbe playing on the edge. JeongHoon surely has to fall here. JeongHoon, no, has to make it out. Flash out to safety. Chasy desperate to get anything back. Statue's gonna go a bit wide. Bubble not gonna connect. Shock blast to finish the job. The range coming through, and the Ocean Soul just ticking, healing up the members of the MAD Lions. Kobbe going out to safety. Barely able to get away from that one.
Gale Force just making it so he doesn't have to flash there. Astralis have a lot of damage. If the barrels can land and the culling is getting across, even Hylissang is getting melted straight through. Elyoya had to flash away, and he has no resistances whatsoever, basically, right? He's sitting on 100 armor, 118 armor. If a crit lands and the Lucian can get a small combo off, the Maokai's dead, shut down over, and then they have the threat of taking over the river, of course, because when the Maokai's down, then you don't have that threat of the minefield in the river. 113 is looking for any remaining members of MAD Lions to slow them down on the map. 45 seconds on the spawn. Nash, Elyoya had to use the flash, Carzzy had to use the flash. We'll see if Astralis can find a similar angle.
Yeah, finding the right angle feels like what it's all about. You can see though, Astralis getting scarier and scarier. Again, we highlighted it in the middle of that last fight. 3 items for Finn, 3.5 for Kobbe. They've got the damage to make it through the MAD Lions lineup. They just have to get in range. They have to get close, and they cannot afford to get caught out by Elyoya. It's going to be harder to lock him down now. Yes, he's still a very squishy tree, all things considered, but having that stopwatch can be a massive difference maker in the fights to come.
TP's coming in. Yeah, that hourglass. See how he uses it. I think that just stops a lot of the Vi engage, doesn't it? We saw 113 use the Vi ult onto Hylissang last fight. He even hooked out of it, so the engage was a little bit scuffed. It's just the burst from the Gangplank that kind of turned the fight in their favor. So Dajor, let's keep our eye on Dajor. His positioning is in this top brush. Maybe he can look for a flank. He's got pings on that top side. If he can find a combo onto Elyoya, that'll help. But Elyoya puts the sapling on that top brush. He knows that the Ahri is on this top side somewhere. MAD Lions just keeping these mid-waves in, just keeping the shock blasts down, keeping Astralis close to their base. It's just a matter of time before they turn and burn this Baron or look for an engage of their own.
Dajor trying to find the angle. Fully committed on the flank here, but has to be careful. Elyoya might be able to 100 to 0 him. It's going to get interrupted. Oh, they're taking their time. They just walk in and they fish for the kill. Dajor dashing out to safety for now.
Yeah, he has no TP though and no ult, so that should be it. MAD Lions should go towards Baron now and start it up. They know the Ahri has no TP, half HP, and no ultimate. But Carzzy needs to clear out this mid-wave still, so they've got a tiny bit of time to work with. Dajor's not even a base. Kobbe knows he has to force this play.
Sees the opportunity here again. Hylissang just the center of attention every single time a fight breaks out, and the only one standing in close enough range to be hit here. Nisqy, Elyoya, Carzzy gonna start to burn through this one. This is the advantage of the on-hit Varus, shredding through this objective.
Who's gonna tank them?
113 has to. They cannot walk into these saplings. Kobbe, again, just has to walk away here. So much zone control from the side of MAD Lions. Finn, good damage from the barrels, hitting onto Nisqy, taking about half his HP, but doesn't have time to set up another combo. Hook goes a little bit wide. 113 off to the side, throws up the heart, as well as the punch to make it out to safety. Chasy, though,
good flash ult him.
In pursuit. Not going to push for anything else. Again, MAD Lions playing a slow, controlled game here, finding these small advantages, using them to get these big objectives. Baron, Ocean Soul, Elder a minute away. MAD Lions in absolute control.
They are indeed, and like you said, Elder 1 minute away. They're going to use that Baron to put even more pressure on the map. Astralis is getting harder and harder to find ways into this river, and you can see the frustration, hands on heads, just questioning how they can do it. Dajor was looking for a TP, I'm not quite sure where, but ended up getting cancelled, and he
lost so many resources before the fight started that, yeah, gave MAD Lions the edge in starting the objective. 40 seconds on Elder. Mid push into bot side river. Astralis trying to get here before they arrive. Maybe they can set up before the saplings can get placed down. But no, there are only two here. Finn's just base. He might have to TP in if they want to force this now.
Push, they don't have man advantage. This is Psycho to even contest this, but they're going to try to do it anyway. For now, 1-1-3 still standing strong. Hylissang, has he gone too deep? Kobbe locked up. Kobbe should surely fall. Dashes, Gale Force is out to safety. Carzzy now on a killing spree. JeongHoon taken out by the shock blast. MAD Lions looking for a victory lap down the mid lane as Chasy goes back in for the engage. A clean combo from the Gnar in the mid lane means one last member of Astralis standing. MAD Lions with a triple for Nisqy, a monster in the mid lane as well, moving in and looking to break open the nexus of Astralis.
It's just Kobbe standing, and he's got no one there to help him. He's got no damage left, no summoners, no ult. 5-man strong here, MAD Lions, Ocean, Soul, and Baron. It's going to be game one over to them.
Kobbe, there's nothing left. He's going to dance. He's going to do everything he can to show us that footwork, but there is just too much damage. Those saplings will not be hit by the tower. And that's going to be game one for MAD Lions, controlled from start to finish. Some scrappy fights, certainly, but they were in the driver's seat for minute one.
It was getting really hard there for Astralis, and I think the pressure got them a little bit where they had to force something, but they walked up there into the river without Finn, without the Gangplank ult, without any flashes, and Hylissang just hex flashed on top of them and started the engage, so a little bit rushed, you have to imagine, but even then, it's just impossible. It's just such a mountain to climb to come back in that game. But yeah, bouncing back here, like I said, Astralis 4-3 on blue side, their winning side that they probably will choose going into this game too, see what they can cook up in draft, get a nice cocktail going. And I mean, we've seen Casio Twitch, you know, what else they got in store? You know, you've got one best of one left before you're knocked out. May as well try.
They took a game last time around. I have no doubt that they can do it again, but MAD Lions playing for keeps, and I think Elyoya especially looking like a monster. Seems unhappy about that G2 loss. And Hylissang engaging, as Hylissang does, going crazy. Some good, some bad, but overall, I think Elyoya and Nisqy just powerhouses in the fight. The top side of MAD Lions, you know, we were ready to talk mostly about bot side, about how bot side was going to be everything, especially in a matchup versus Astralis, but the top side of MAD Lions were incredible this game.
They were. Nisqy is just, he's so consistent this split, isn't he? I can remember one game against Vitality where he was playing Victor against Perkz Azir, where he struggled a little bit. Barring that, nothing short of fantastic really in the mid lane for MAD Lions. He's first in almost every stat that game. Almost flawless on the Jayce too. Just a little bit of hiccups on the bot side. Max probably giving the bot lane a little bit of a scolding, saying, you know, let's not take those early fights. Stop being so aggressive in these trades. Don't die to the 2v2s. And once they gained control of jungle bot, just felt over from there. MAD Lions transition to top. Game was done.
I like your headcanon for Max speeches. But that's enough from us. Let's head over to Laure on the desk and see what they thought about that game. Wow, words are hard.
They are today.
Words hard. English is hard. But MAD Lions made this game look easy on them as they take the first one in this best of 3. A lot of back and forth, though, but if we focus on the early game at first, I want to talk about the top lane and how Elyoya and Chasy set the pace in the early game.
Yeah, I generally just feel like from Elyoya's side, and MAD Lions specifically, they were allocating a lot of resources to the top side, and they were the one who was going through first. You can even see it here with Chasy not answering the split push from Finn, but deciding to stay around, and that really set them up to just get this triple kill from Elyoya.
And this really hurts, because if the brush wasn't being camped there, like Dajor had the idea to already move up river and gank top lane, so in 15 seconds, it's 4v3 in favor of Astralis, but that is not the way it worked because MAD Lions were there to jump on.
And what that really did there was just propel the game forward, both from Chasy's point of view and also Elyoya's point of view. When they had the kind of composition they did, where they could play around so much with their range from the Maokai saplings, from the Varus Q, albeit he didn't go lethality, and the Jayce, it just created a zone every time there was an objective where it was really difficult. So huge prop to Elyoya, you can see it there as well. Kill participation up there.
And because of the triple kill, like, there was a point in the game where this man had a demonic embrace and lucidity boots, and the enemy jungle had a Kindle gem, null magic mantle, and tier 1 boots, and like maybe a potion. I don't know. It was bad.
It was looking doomed.
It was looking doomed, yeah, indeed. But we talked about Elyoya and how he set up the top lane, but I think I'm wondering if we haven't been sleeping a bit too much on Chasy and how he's been the silent force on the side of MAD Lions.
Yeah, because, you know, we were talking about the matchup as well with Finn coming into the day as well. I think Chasy on the Gnar, you know, he was super solid. He was getting a lot of resources from the teams, and And it really showed as well, even in situations like this, where Kobbe, who had a great series this game, finally goes forward. Well, Chasy's there to just really answer it. I think the big thing for me in this game where MAD Lions specifically beat Astralis was from their map movements, because every time Astralis got something ahead of them, someone from MAD Lions were there to answer it. If it was Chasy, if it was Elyoya, either way, they all had a great game here.
I think it's super important when you have priority, especially as like a top laner, you're in a side lane. When you get that pushed wave, you're moving down to help the rest of your team, clearing through enemy jungle. It's not just take a reset or overextend blind pushing into a side lane. He is converting his lane pressure into the rest of the team.
And it's not something we really see so often in this meta either, because usually we see the bot laners get the charge, but here with Chasy getting the lead finally, top laners have a hard time really getting their lead into a team lead. But I thought Chasy did a phenomenal job here, because every time there was a fight, well, he's a Gnar, he can go for the team fight, or every time he needed to shift from another lane to another, well, he was there with a great movement.
Yeah, and the MAD Lions really can play through every lane and every force they have here. And I think we should look maybe at the objective control, and especially the Drake fight that Jamada can talk us through.
Hello everyone, I am here to break down specifically the third dragon and everything that unfolded here, because it was a very interesting sequence of plays which eventually did lead to MAD Lions picking up the third dragon of the game. If we get the clip started and we kind of just immediately look from Astralis' perspective, they're not actually in the river first right now. It's Dajor behind and MAD Lions currently with a little bit of mid lane priority and effectively just waiting for Astralis to try and check into them. Clip. You can play out, and you can see MAD, they kind of sniff something out, they get the blue ward down, Dajor's position is revealed, and Astralis kind of get a bit of a move forward. If we pause right here just before the fight actually kicks off, MAD Lions are a little bit hesitant to actually extend forward because they've got tools to worry about off of the back of things like the Gangplank ultimate, Nami wave, etc. But Hylissang kind of still takes things into his own hands. He still goes forward for this hook here. And if we let the clip play out a little bit, you'll see that no one's actually man-marking Dajor for a really long time. Hylissang ends up getting picked off by Dajor, eventually retaking position. And as we pause, we've got Chasy here taking down one of the frontliners, and the Maokai ended up ruining both bot laners here for Astralis, both Kobbe and JeongHoon, and Chasy sees this as an opportunity to move forward. Unfortunately, if we let the clip roll out, Chasy doesn't have flash to lock down Kobbe, so he gets forward, takes out Carzzy, and if we pause again, MAD Lions don't really have the best setup from the jump because they have to go through so many tools of Astralis, but it doesn't fortunately end up mattering too much if we let the play roll once more, because they've got the damage coming back from Nisqy, who was man-marking Dajor, forced him all the way out of this team fight, and even though he gets charmed up, you can see Elyoya still has the flash from the remainder of the fight to move forward and take down a couple more members from Astralis. And off the back of this sequence of plays, even though you see Nisqy go for the kill, doesn't quite take down Dajor, they pick up this third dragon, and MAD Lions, they don't necessarily have the best setup from the get-go, but Astralis didn't necessarily do a good job either of shutting down some of the poke and the engage tools available to MAD Lions. So MAD Lions very happily take that fight, and that third dragon was crucial to getting them to Ocean Soul at the end of the game. So I wanted to break that one down because it was very interesting, and Astralis unfortunately didn't end up winning that team fight. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you so much, Jamada. And I think it says a lot about the whole MAD Lions approach around objectives as a whole.
Yeah, I really agree. So, like, I think we talked a little bit about it, but from the draft that they had, right, with the amount of long range you get, that also means if you're the first one to get on the objective, right, they're going to have to face check Maokai, they're going to have to face check Jayce, they're going to have to face check the Varus, and you can't do that. So you can also just see it from the objectives from the Drakes. When MAD Lions was the team who was first, they were getting it.
It's also really hard, unless Astralis have like a big advantage, sort of walk in and take space. Because like, where's your front line? Who's actually doing that? Even if you don't have front line, you don't have great tools to actually procure vision. So when it comes to like these setups around sieges or around objectives, like it's very hard for Astralis to be there first, but it's also really hard to engage, because I think if Vi just sort of sends herself in with a cannon barrage, like there's good enough disengage, right? The CC lockdown of Maokai, Varus, Nautilus, it's really tough. So Astralis' best hope in an even game point was that MAD Lions would sort of overcommit and dive in initially, which actually happened a couple of times. Hylissang, I think, jumped the gun. He's still like traded even.
It's a very nice way of saying it, bro.
There was some light inting.
Controlled inting. It's
yeah,
fine.
exactly. But like even in that fight around Drake that Jamada broke down, like I think they could have played it a little bit slower, waited for the poke to come in, but Hylissang just saw an angle and he took it, and it wasn't a great fight for them.
Yeah, I still think like MAD Lions, they wasn't fully clean in terms of what they could have done, but either way, they look very dominant in the
We'll
game.
see if there's some opportunities for Astralis to bounce back here, as they will play on blue side and try and avoid elimination and maybe force game 3. We will be right back right after the break.